Morning, guys. Today let us continue with our discussion. So previous discussion we discussed about the impact of the fascism. So today we are going to discuss the rise of Nazism in Germany. The rise of Nazism in Germany. So Nazism was the dictatorship ideology which spread in Germany from 1920 up to 1945. This was spread in Germany from 1920 up to 1945. So the Nazi part, this was the political part which was formed in 1920 by Adolf Alois Hitler with the aim of solving political, social and economic problems which faced Germany due to the First World War of 1914 up to 1918 and the Great Economic Depression from 1929 up to 1933. So Germany was among the nations which fought during the First World War. So there were a lot of different social and political problems which occurred. So the aim of this political party was to solve those problems. Also, Adolf Hitler wanted to violate the terms of Versailles Peace Treaty as the way to protect German nationality and prestige. So later we will come to discuss these terms of Versailles Peace Treaty. So Nazism was also the branch of fascism in Germany. Also, Nazism was known as the German Socialist Working Men's Party under the German language. So it was known as Nationalsozialistic Dutch abbreviator, and this was the symbol of Nazism in Germany. So therefore, the Nazi Party was formulated from the first symbol of Nazi Party, which symbolized the swastika. Let's now discuss the causes of Nazism in Germany. Number one was the impact of the First World War. The impact of the First World War. So the First World War, this was the war which was fought from 1914 up to 1918 by the victor power of the world. This war affected much the German, that was brought many social problems including unemployment, disease as well as famine and hunger. But the German government failed to support people's life. Due to this, Germany decided to support Adolf Hitler to take control of the nation so as to solve these social and economic problems. The causes number two was the fear for communism. Fear of communism. So Germany feared that communism could break the development of capitalism in Germany, something which influenced Adolf Alois Hitler to formulate the Nazi Party. And we should remember that after the end of the First World War, Russia undergone socialism, especially from 1917. So after the development of socialism, which were now half of Germany was occupied by socialism, something which influenced Hitler to suppress this socialism through forming Nazi Party, the dictatorship ideas. Causes number three was the effect of the Great Economic Depression. So the Great Economic Depression referred to the fall of the world economy, which occurred from 1929 up to 1933. This Great Economic Depression was much caused by the impact of the First World War. So the Great Depression played the great role toward the development of socialism in Germany, and this was simply after the development of this Great Economic Depression led to the economic problem in Germany, whereby Germany affected much, but the government failed to solve this problem, something which influenced the Adolf Hitler to formulate the Nazi Party so as to revive the German economy. Causes number four was the role played by Adolf Alois Hitler. Adolf Alois Hitler was the one who formulated the Nazi Party in 1920, and he played the great role in spreading dictatorship ideology worldwide, as well as different nations adopted socialism, the idea which developed by Hitler. Also, Hitler was a very strong and powerful leader, such that he challenged the German government, something which led to the development of dictatorship in Germany. Another causes was the political discontent. So in political discontents in Germany, the Germans were not satisfied with the way their government rule, or they were not satisfied with the ruling system of their government, something which led to the formation of many political parties, including the Nazi party. So the general election, which was held in 1933, involved many political parties, including Nazi party. So during the election is where now Nazi parties won election and came into power. Another was the role played by the big monopolies. The role played by the big monopoly. So in Germany, these big monopolies were the traders or the big capitalists. So the big monopolies played the great role toward the rise of dictatorship, in which they supported Adolf Hitler to take control of their nation so as to solve their problem. These were the capitalists, and most of them participated in trading activities. So due to the economic problem in Germany is where now these traders affected much. So to solve their economic problem, they decided to support Adolf Hitler so as to take control of the government and to solve those problems. Another was the weakness of the League of Nations. The weakness of the League of Nations. The League of Nations was an international organ which was formed in 1914 by the victor power of the world during the Versailles Peace Treaty. So the aim of this was to maintain the world peace and security after the end of the First World War. So the League of Nations failed to suppress Adolf Hitler and his part, such that Adolf Hitler was able to come into power and to establish dictatorship ideology, as well as to spread dictatorship worldwide. Causes number 8 was the terms of Versailles Peace Treaty. The terms of Versailles Peace Treaty. So the Versailles Peace Treaty was an international conference which was summoned by the victor power of the world so as to evaluate the First World War, why the war occurred, the impact of the First World War, and what should be done so as to overcome another occurrence of the war. So during the war, these nations found that Germany was the cause of the First World War, hence Germany was undermined heavily, something which influenced Adolf Hitler to formulate the dictatorship ideology that was Nazi Party so as to overcome or to be against those terms of Versailles Peace Treaty. And the last causes of Nazism in Germany was the failure of Weimar Republic, or the weakness of the Weimar Republic. So Weimar Republic referred to the government which was formed in Germany 1918, that is few days after the end of the First World War, before the end of the First World War. I said Weimar Republic referred to the government which was formed in Germany, that was few days before the end of the First World War. Therefore, the Weimar Republic proved failure. This was the government, but it proved failure in controlling the country, something which contributed much to the emergence of dictatorship in Germany, that was Nazi Party under Adolf Hitler. Nazi Party under Adolf Hitler. So this is the end of our discussion, but to our next discussion, we are coming to discuss the weakness of how the failure of Weimar Republic contributed much to the rise of dictatorship in Germany. Thank you. So for more information, you can find me, telephone number 0762 41 51 90, 0762 41 51 90. Thank you.